Another loss for the tank. The Coyotes are one step closer to 32nd place, one step closer to Connor Bedard. If you want to spin it that way. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes postgame show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah Merrill here with Steve Peters. Craig Morgan will be joining us for Mullet Arena shortly. PD, 6 straight losses. Mullet Magic is nowhere to be found, and the Coyotes are plummeting, which is going exactly to plan.
Exactly as planned. That's 8 goals in 2 games since getting back to the Mullet. The Magic has officially disappeared. 6 straight losses. But again, when we said 10 days ago there was no chance this team is going to get towards the bottom and they're way too far ahead of Chicago, it's not going to happen. Hold the phone. They play Chicago head-to-head 3 more times. It's not impossible. This team right now is really struggling at a lot of the basics. They're struggling to defend. They're turning pucks over. This is a game they I don't want to say easily could have won. This is a game they could have won if they play mistake-free hockey again. And even at the start of the 3rd period, the game-winning goal, if you go back and watch that, the miscommunication between Valimaki and Vejmelka is what causes that. Valimaki had no idea the puck's coming his way. He thinks it's going to the other corner, so it kind of startled him and turned the puck over 9 seconds in, and that's when the wind was out of their sails and this one was over.
Yeah, it was, not their best game. They were up at one point, I will say. So it's not like this game was dead and gone. The Sharks came back, scored a bunch of unanswered goals. It was just one of those ones. And Christian Fischer even said it in the first intermission to Jody Jackson. Just, when we score the first goal, we tend to play well. When we don't, sometimes we struggle. So it seemed like maybe they could get back. But to me, I'm fine with this loss. This was one that we kind of circled as a must lose on the calendar. San Jose is kind of neck and neck with Arizona in the standings as far as wanting to sink down. This was a game that was a good loss. And if you look at it, Barrett, Hayton, another goal, which we'll get to the Walkin and Talkin effect in a few minutes. But Barrett, Hayton on the score sheet, Christian Fischer, Chychrun and Gostisbehere with assists on both those goals. Small good things happened, even though as a whole, maybe it's just oh my God, another loss.
But even that, though, Leah, from the blue line in the offensive zone, this was a good game for the Coyotes. I thought they maintained offensive zone pressure. I thought they had good chances at the net. I thought they skated well. It's just from their defensive zone in. It's where this team struggled. And, it's just, I don't want to keep beating the broken drum. Is it a broken drum or a broken record? I don't know. But whatever. They keep doing the same shit over and over again. So it's not mentioned. For the blue line and in, you're right. I thought Barrett Hayton might have had one of his better games of the year tonight. He was net front on the power plays. He got the goal early in the game. He looked really good. I thought he has really played well with Schmaltz and Keller. I think that's been a good dynamic, and I hope they continue to work on that experiment and keep those guys together for a while. You talked about Chychrun and Gostisbehere. Chychrun he's a +2 again. And he led the team in shot attempts with 8. Gostisbehere led the team in shot on goal with 4, and Hayton had the most shots by a forward. There were some offensive good things, and we said this when they played Chicago. That game was horrible. It was bad. It was slow.
It was very hard to find good things in that game.
Yeah, it was hard to watch. And this game, again, they were skating well and they were playing well, and they just have to clean up their defensive zone. And their coverage in front of the blue paint is just horrific. That's a team stat. That's not the goaltender. That's not the defenseman. That's a team stat, their ability to defend.
And you look at that first goal, there were 4 Coyotes.
4 guys standing there.
Right there. And Veggie was caught out of position, and that shot goes in, and you're just how did that happen?
How does that player get all alone in that spot? And you go look at it again. There's so many things. Krause, who's a very responsible defensive player, he thinks that Arizona is going to get possession of the puck, so he goes for a breakout pass along the wall. That opens up that lane, and I think guys got caught a little bit puck watching, but you just thought the puck was going to bounce the other way, and all of a sudden it ends up on a San Jose Shark stick right in the slot. So their defending was really off tonight. But their offense was there. And when they come out of the first period 2-1 with goals from Hayton and Fischer, and I tell you what, Fischer, I don't know what it is. He keeps getting those breakaways. They're not.
It's unreal.
he's going to get these gritty goals where it bounces off him or he's slapping it in off a rebound and all this scrums. He's had breakaways. Like his last 3 goals have been off breakaways. It's amazing to me. Amazing. The fleet of foot and fancy hands of Christian Fischer.
I know, absolutely. Well, let's get into this one by the numbers and kind of see that offensive performance, I guess, if you will, which is that the Coyotes kind of held their own once again in shots on goal, 33-27 in favor of San Jose. Again, no special teams, no power play goals in this one. Coyotes, need to capitalize on their power play, but San Jose, I think they have one of the better penalty kills in the NHL, if I'm not mistaken, which might be surprising.
They're top 3 for sure.
Yeah, given their standing. But of course, they, we can't forget they do have some studs on the back end. And another physical game for the Coyotes. We saw Josh Brown drop the gloves in this one. He's kind of been getting it done, especially with Liam O'Brien's absence, in that sense of toughness. But if you just look at these numbers minus the 4-2 final, like not bad in terms of being even. So this kind of came down to some mistakes that I know the Coyotes are probably working on cleaning up.
Yeah, that too. And the other thing you pointed out is the power play go 0 for 4 again. And during this 6-game losing streak, they have scored 1 power play goal. And this team goes as their power play goals. When their power play was hot to start the season, they were getting some wins and racking up some opportunities there. And now they've dried up. I will say today, I thought there was a little bit of puck movement and they looked like they had some opportunities on the power play. And then they get out again on the power play and they can't get the puck in the zone. So it was a really hot and cold power play today. And I think this team has to get opportunities and they have to score when they're on the power play because let's face it. I mean, we know the offense spreads around for this team, but if they're going to get wins, they have to score on the power play. They can't go 1 for whatever they've gone here in the last 6 games. They're going to have to break through if they want to get wins here. And do they? I don't know. You see, Connor Bedard does it again. He goes back to junior and he's tearing it up again. Like he's got something like 70-some points in 20-some games. I mean, clearly that's not Wikipedia, but like it's close. Google it. He's getting a lot of points. He's not a bad player. So if you're going to get last and you're going to lose, we keep saying it, this is the year.
Listen, and we were getting a little bit freaked out here to start the season when the Coyotes were winning more games than we expected. And we kept pulling up that punch card and saying, look at all those games left. And it's kind of happening. They're on this slide. And guess who's on the up and up by, 2 wins in a row, the Chicago Blackhawks. So anything can happen. There's still a lot of time left. And this was an important one against, a San Jose team that is 1 spot removed from Arizona now the other way. And by the way, just a small little personal note here. Shout out to my friend Matt, who lives in San Jose, who since game 1 of the season has been texting me every single time San Jose loses, 1 loss closer to Bedard. 1 loss closer to Bedard. So we had a little friendly wager tonight. And he Venmoed me $10 when this game ended because I said the Sharks would win. He said the Coyotes would win, and I won. So hello, Matt. I don't think you're watching, but if you are, thanks for the $10. But let's get into the keys, PD, because thing that first of all, like PD doesn't just pull these keys out of nowhere. He does his research, because when the Coyotes win, they tend to do well with these, and when they lose, they don't. So let's pull up the keys, because every single one of these had some sort of
Karlsson gets an assist on the at the end of the game on the 4th goal. I think he was a consistent contributor to this game. I don't think he was the factor in this game. He was good, but I don't think it was all Erik Karlsson. He has 5 shots attempt at the net. He got 1 on net. He's +2. But I tell you what, this team has got to figure out a way to get through January. I mean, for as hot as they were in November, just January has been poor. And Veggie, I mean, I don't know. Like, again, I don't want to blame the goaltender, but I think he's got to have at least one of these tonight. I just don't think he's been as sharp as he was before the Christmas break. I think he was much stronger before the break. What has he given up his last 6, 6, 5, 4, 4? Like they need a big game out of Veggie coming up here, and he needs to turn his season around. But what happened to him last season is they gave him a break. And that's when Wedgie could come in. Wedgwood came in and he played 2 or 3, and Wedgwood got hot, which gave Veggie a rest so Vejmelka could get back and playing on top of his game again, and he didn't tonight. And I'm concerned. I hope Connor Ingram can give him a little bit of a break and win some games, because Veggie needs to take a breather. I mean, he's getting a lot of work. He's been ridden hard this year. Maybe it's time that Ingram gets a game or two just so he can get back on track.
Yeah, and I know Ingram was out with illness, and they recalled Prozatov. They sent
right.
Prozatov back to Tucson. So Ingram is back in the mix, but we'll see, with back-to-back every single weekend, we'll definitely see Ingram in the mix there. Don't know if he'll get in more than he's, been in lately, because it's kind of been Veggie carrying the load. But you're right. We were kind of going from discussing him being maybe trade bait, maybe an all-star, to all of a sudden the last few, it's been like, what's going on with him? So, I mean, it's also a mental game with goalies, and if the team is struggling and he's struggling, it's hard to get out of that. And you know what?
Yeah,
the Coyotes do play Winnipeg soon, so we all know how he does against the Jets.
There.
So maybe that'll be his reset.
And by no means do I want to sit there and hang this loss on Vejmelka.
No.
I'm just saying he's been the guy that's held them in these games when the team has played like this in front of them. That defensive performance from the blue line in was poor. Like, you used to talk about that first goal as a 1-on-4. They turn over the puck behind the net on the game-winning goal at the start of the third. This is a team loss, and these are big mistakes by the team, not Veggie. Veggie's just, they're so used to him bailing the team out and making unbelievable, 40 save performances to bail the team out over and over again. That hasn't been happening of late. It's absolutely not hanging this loss on Vejmelka. He's still making big saves. Even that toe save he makes on the second goal, unbelievable save. And they put in the rebound because they're not back checking. They're not covering the right men. And it's just unfortunate for him, because if you swapped him with Chicago and put him in the Chicago net, that team would be on the verge of the playoffs right now. Ay. Thanks, Bees. Appreciate you.
Well, all right. Let's get into some more positivity, because
that's all I'm all about.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's just address the elephant in the room. What is the puzzle behind you?
See, I did say there was going to debut 2 new puzzles.
The chat was stoked at the beginning of the show, and we kind of didn't address it.
And this is, maybe if you're not familiar with this is just a coffee break with a bunch of lattes and coffees. But the big thing about these puzzles is the box and the picture is not what the puzzle is.
What?
Yes, it's different. They move the pictures around, or they're different colors, or it has coffee beans up here, but on the picture it's coffee spoons. And it's called a oops mistakes puzzle. And it's harder than hell, because you can't go by the box, but it makes it that much more fun. So there is the coffee break puzzle, and that's puzzle number 2 from Christmas 2022.
All right. See, we're already in a better mood, ready to talk some positivity. That's unreal. I've never heard of that. Thank you for sharing, and we'll see another one later this week. So I can't wait. But let's talk a little bit more about Barrett Hayton, who scored his 4th goal of the season today. Now has 3 goals and 8 points in his last 7 games. And we've been teasing that Petey and Barrett were going to do a Walkin and Talkin, and that this was going to be the thing. And they did it today, like literally this morning. And then what does he do? Go out and score his first Coyotes goal of the game. And it's the opposite of the magic, the juju of Walkin and Talkin is so alive and well. Petey, like, everyone's going to be begging to come on Walkin and Talkin.
So I was at the ice den this morning, clearly, because I did the Walkin and Talkin, and Fish came by. And Christian Fischer came by and said, "Whose turn is it today?" And I said, "It's Barrett Hayton." And I said, "He's going to get some of that good luck." And Fish goes, "What good luck?" And he was kind of going. I said, "You got a goal and assist right after." He said, "Yeah, but I've had nothing since." And I said, "Well, maybe soon." And then he scores. So I do think now, I'm telling you, now that Barrett Hayton got this, and I don't know if you saw Barrett Hayton today on Walkin and Talkin, but he was relaxed. He's loose. I think he's having fun again, and it shows on the ice. And I tell you what, there's no question this kid can play hockey, but he needed to loosen up a little bit. And I am so happy for him, because the game is funner much more fun. Is funner not a word? I think Craig gets mad at when I say it is more fun.
HK doesn't mean
It's more
anything
fun when
either,
you're playing
so.
well. So yeah, I'm really happy to see Barrett Hayton do well, and we'll see who's next. I don't know. The Boogie Man came up and said he might want to go next. So there is starting to be, and now with this goal, oh boy, howdy.
And the fact that you just being in Christian Fischer's like presence rejuvenated him.
Yes, and I said to him too, is coming back again. And I threw a buddy. I might even thrown 2 buddies in there with him, with Barrett Hayton today on the walk and talk. Hey, buddy. So I got some buddies, and so it's pretty happy.
Also almost
I have
got
so
hit by
much
a
fun.
golf cart. So.
It was funny, but they were doing that on purpose because they get golf carted back. And
Oh,
forth.
so they were
Players do.
trying to run
They
into
were
you.
swerved at us on.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's fun.
Yeah, and Christian Fischer, obviously, also. I mean, despite maybe he believes that hasn't had anything lately, that was his 8th goal of the season. He's on pace for a career year in goals. That was something he told us before the season started. That was, a goal of his to increase his goal scoring this season, and he's done that. It's really great to see from him.
Yeah, and we talked about Fish too. It's funny because, hey, he'll be the first to tell you he has struggled around the net, and he's struggled to have that scoring touch, as it were. But his goals, they're really good goals, and they're skilled goals. So good for him. And if he put the work in over the summer to get that part of his game going again, I think he has. I mean, I know he wouldn't want to hear this, but I don't know if he's a 30 goal scorer, but if he can get close to 20 goals, and Christian Fischer does the things that he does on the ice, he's killing penalties for you, and he brings that energy every night, and he does the right things when he hops over the boards, never quits in the defensive zone, all of those things. And on top of that, he gets you close to 20 goals. That's a big win. And especially what he does off the ice and what he does in the room and how he prepares as a professional, all of those things. And he wants to be here. And he's proud to be a Coyote, and he wants to be a Coyote. So I think those are the things that are going to come into play. I mean, let's face it, this is the end of his contract's up. So is this a guy you sign? To me, the answer is absolutely. Like he's done what he's asked of, and the coaching staff loves him. The room loves him. I would think that he's a guy that they would like to have back in a Coyote jersey come next season. Let's hope so.
Yeah, and sticking with the theme of the day, Shark Tank, ocean, fish, we had to go this way, and that's why Christian Fischer is tonight's DraftKings King of the Game. 1 goal, 2 shots. Obviously, shout out Barrett Hayton as well, and also shout out Shane Gostisbehere and Jacob Chychrun, both assisted on both goals tonight. So all of those guys deserve honorable mentions, but just Fischer, what he's done, with all the things we just talked about, and fish, ocean, tank, had to go with it. So congrats to Christian Fischer. And I saw B's comment a minute ago about Hayton's going to have a hat trick a week from now if we're going to, stick with the Walkin and Talkin Magic. Hey, listen, just maybe make a note of yourself. Note today's date. There's another game next Tuesday. If you want to put some money on Barrett Hayton, anytime goal scorer, or maybe multiple goals next week, you can definitely do that on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Just even if you just do a weenie bet like I do, it's fun, and it just makes it so much more fun to watch the games as well. And there's a new exciting promotion right now on DraftKings. All new and existing customers can get a no sweat bet each day of the wild card round this weekend for all the NFL playoff games. Just place any NFL bet of your choice, and if it loses, you'll get a free bet back up to $10. So, Petey, I know you've been betting on NFL a lot, and you said, what were you, 4 for 5?
4 for 5.
So that 5th one that you were not 100% on, you would have gotten a free bet back with this promotion.
Yeah, I know.
So it's a great bet. It's a great for you. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code PHNX. New customers can bet $5 on the NFL and get $200 in free bets instantly. Only a DraftKings Sportsbook. That's code PHNX. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And we don't have the OG's sigh counter tonight, but that's okay. I think
I haven't
really heard a sigh. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, we're pretty
zen.
But I'm really excited because OG's is going to be out there with us at Dobson Ranch on Friday at the PHNX Tee Party. And sometimes they have like flavor samples. They're non-medicated gummies, just so you can taste flavors. And I really, really, really want to try their new strawberries and cream flavor. Like I cannot wait to try it. Another thing we had a staff meeting today that Max gives out like awards for different things, and like OGs was the prize. So like OGs is a prize. Yeah, welcome to working at PHNX. But if you haven't tried the Happy Balance Ratio flavor from OGs, check it out. It's their new CBD THC gummy, strawberries and cream. And you can find them at your local dispensary. You must be 21 or older to enjoy. But I can't wait to try that strawberries and cream flavor, and can't wait to see OGs out of the PHNX Tee Party this Friday, which I'm very much looking forward to.
48 hours. No, wait, more than that. 72.
72.
Yep, 3 days.
Well, Petey, as we wait for Craig to arrive, one more thing we haven't yet to talk about, which is that we might have avoided catastrophe tonight with Jacob Chychrun. Boy, howdy, did my heart stop for about a minute there.
I tell you what, we've said it. It's 3 shows in a row now that you go, ooh, remember he missed a shift the last game. You come out to find it was just a equipment skate issue. It was absolutely no injuries. Now today, he goes down like that, getting hit in the knee. You hope it was just a stinger, a little bruise from getting hit like that, which it clearly was, because he came back and he played well. This has got to be. Can you imagine what Bill Armstrong must be going through in the GM suite when he sees him go down like that? Like, oh no, God, no!
And like his face.
Oh, the scream and the slow-mo. But that's just, but Leah, we've talked about what he's going to bring at the trade deadline over and over, and his numbers are great, and he's a plus 6 or 7 now in the season. Everything is great until he gets hurt. So if you're going to make a move, boy, howdy, don't wait too long.
That was like a sobering moment, kind of.
Yes.
We've seen him be really good. We always say every game, oh, he's raising his trade value, trade value. And then, a critique of him is like, oh, he's been plagued with injuries over the course of his career, even though he's so young. And then you see that happen. You think, like, I was just thinking there's no way he's ever getting traded now. Like, who's going to want, or Bill Armstrong won't get his asking price, because here's a guy who just can't avoid injury. And granted, like that specific injury that he hopefully thwarted, it seems like, hopefully, fingers crossed, it was just a bruise on his knee that just sometimes when you go down, you think like it feels worse than it is. Hopefully we'll maybe get an update from Craig in a second, but man, it all just flashed before my eyes.
And that's the fear. That's the fear right now with that kind of a deal. And there's so many teams around this league right now. And we won't get into the long list. That's for another show. But there's a long list of NHL teams that think they have a chance in the playoffs that need a defenseman. So I hope this deal gets done. I know it's not imminent, but you see things like that, and you get scary. Yep.
Well, here he is, the man himself, with a very, very, very glowy background today.
Did he bring that award? So did he bring the award he won, and it's the light?
Okay,
I feel like John Travolta. Saturday Night Fever tonight.
Did you wipe your camera?
I don't know what the hell's going on. Let me try
for sure. That's Vaseline.
Yeah,
Craig won Sports Writer of the Year, not Sports on camera.
Definitely nothing to do with visuals.
Sports
do not
writer,
look to me for anything
not
visual.
Videographer. Good Lord.
For those who don't know, congratulations to Craig on being named National Sports Media Association's Arizona Sports Writer of the Year. Yay! Claps for Craig. Cheers for Craig. Doug Holler also won that award, and then Jody Jackson, Sports Broadcaster of the Year. So obviously we see her a lot on Bally for the Coyotes. So congrats, Craig, and congrats Craig. Doug and Jody, but very well deserved. There's nobody who works harder, deserves it more than Craig. So we give you shit all the time, but that was genuine. But now we're going to go back to roasting you for your
please do. Yeah, because I don't want to talk about my award. I don't know what's up. Like, you guys see, I'm in the same damn suite every night. Like, some night the lights look like this. Like, I'm in I don't know what this is, actually. This is, like I said, this is like a disco movie. I don't know what's going on here.
Wow.
So enjoy glowing me. I don't know what the hell this is, but let's talk about the game, unless you don't want to talk about it anymore.
I mean, we've talked about
we've
talked about it. You talked to we were just talking about Chychrun. Is he okay?
Yeah, it's what we thought. It's a contusion. So he was in the dressing room afterward. He'll be fine. They'll do what they do for contusions, but he just took it off the side of the knee. And yeah, that was a scary moment.
That's a tender spot. I've like slammed that on corners of stuff. Like that hurts.
Yeah,
so.
and with his history, you're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
And with everything going on, obviously, so
exactly.
We talk a lot about the Walkin and Talkin blessing. We saw a couple guys score that had just been on. He did. You got to give it to him. Barrett Hayton scored right after you talked to him. So maybe the Walkin and Talkin thing is like now instant. It's not like a disease where there's an incubation period. It's instant where
it's got to fester a little bit, fester under the skin.
I take back everything I said about
before it breaks out. Yeah, great, Craig. Good enough.
Oh, good. All right.
Oh man. But
so, yeah.
Continue.
I don't know what else to say. We talked to Fish.
What did Fish say? That's what
Fish is just like I tweeted this. It's just I never have a bad interview with a guy. It doesn't matter what happened. And I don't want to like be too dramatic, but like I swear if there's tragedy in this guy's life, he'll still deliver a great interview. He's so respectful of the media, and it's more than that. He's just a thoughtful person. So anytime you ask him a question, he's not going to give you the cliches. He's not going to mail it in. He's going to think about it. He's going to give you a reasoned and detailed response. It's unbelievable. Oh boy.
Walkin and Talkin itis, and then Petey the super spreader.
I like that one.
Keep going.
Okay, Okie is on to something here. Need to walk and talk with Veggie. He needs the mojo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
don't know how we might need to redeem Verbata as a translator on that one.
The Valimaki mistake behind the net. That was just that was a casual play, and that's a tough goal, and that changes the complexion of the game. But again, Andre talked about this again. He liked the work ethic of his team. He liked the injury. He's seeing mental mistakes, of course. And you wonder, guys, and Petey, you'll know this. You can rest all you want, and you can maybe have the legs, but travel, the schedule, it still wears on you mentally as well. So you can make mental mistakes because your brain isn't sharp. It's just you're not in a good rest cycle, right? You're not getting enough rest. So even if the body feels okay, the mind still might not be there entirely. And I just wonder how much the schedule is going to wear on them. And oh, by the way, in the middle of this 15 and 26 stretch, let's go to Minnesota and Winnipeg for a back-to-back and then come back home. Are you kidding me? Come on.
It couldn't have been LA, Anaheim or something if you're going to make them do that.
Every time this team you think they're going to get they're home and they're going to get a rest and they're going to get a breather, it's just right back on the treadmill, and it's hard. And Craig, to your point, it isn't just like that's a mental mistake that Valimaki, and it's a communication between the goalie and the defenseman to make sure that they know what's going on. It was very casual play, and they just weren't sharp, and there were so many mistakes in the defensive zone where they just weren't in sync together. And some of that is mental, and it is wearing and tired. And you've talked to guys on the staff and in the locker room, they're tired. Yeah. And you can give them a day off, but they're still tired because they have to do it tomorrow. And that back-to-back this weekend is absolutely horrific, because if you're going the other way, it's maybe not quite as bad, but you got to get into Canada, and you're clearing customs, and it's hard.
And Winnipeg in January?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be cold, and it's just, you're going to get in late at night, and then you got customs, and then you're going to go hotel late. And then guess what? You play a Winnipeg Jet team that's playing much higher than their expectations were to start the season. And guess what? It's really hard to play in that building. And the only win they've had in the last, 12 years is a shutout by Ramelka.
Yeah, they don't play that well in that building overall. But it's funny. You mentioned, it's not funny, actually. It's kind of sad. But you mentioned, you feel like there's a big losing streak coming at some point this season. Well, they're 6 straight now, and Ottawa coming before that road trip. If they don't get a win in this last game at Mullet, we might be staring at a really big losing streak, which, of course, for the ultimate goal is okay, but for the players, it sucks.
For morale.
It sucks to be in this stretch.
Yeah, because you look at the teams coming in, and I know we'll get to the schedule later, but you look at the Ottawa game, and I think we've said it last year. The last 2 times they've played this team, they've been in shootouts. I mean, not literally a shootout at the end of the game. I mean, high-scoring games where it's back and forth and people are scoring. I think that's going to be the same against Ottawa. Again, they're a team that doesn't defend incredibly well either, but they have offensive firepower. But then after that, Minnesota and Winnipeg on the road, those are really tough games. And then they come home to Detroit. Detroit's interesting because that's a much better team than people probably are aware of. Yeah, it's not a bad hockey team. They're young and coming, and they're where the Coyotes want to be in a couple of years. We talk about Buffalo and Detroit in the same breath as teams on the rise. This Detroit team's got some talent, so it's not a gimme like it was, a year or two ago when Detroit was on the downswing. They're better, and then after that, then it gets really hard. Washington, Dallas, Vegas, and you go, oh boy, Anaheim. Anaheim is humongous big game at the end of the month. That's a must lose.
And then after that, they finally get a freaking week off.
Except the All-Star break.
Except for Clayton Keller.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I just
and he used to fly across the country.
Yeah, it's not in Vegas this year. It's in freaking Florida. So.
And no, somebody asked in the chat, and I'm bad at that. Ken Keller. Oh, it was Kenny. Said Keller skipped the All-Star game, and the answer is probably not.
He would get
the
suspended.
The league really cracked down on
You'd have to be hurt.
Missing that. You have to be hurt. And you have to be hurt going into that.
And if you skip it, don't you get suspended a game?
Yeah, that happened to, was it Ovechkin?
Yeah.
Yep. So, he will be playing it in that game.
Okay.
Yeah, oh boy. That's rough.
Well, let's talk about something a little bit fun for a sec. Okay, you guys went to practice today and noticed something on the ice the Coyotes were wearing. Mm-hmm. And we have the picture that Craig tweeted. These pants with a cactus on the side. If you're listening on audio, if you saw Craig tweeted this earlier, basically the Coyotes like maroonish pants, but there's a tan cactus silhouette on the side. What is happening here? What is going on? What can what is this?
There's going to be a new uniform unveiled. I don't know when. I apologize. I know uniforms are a big deal to a lot of people, and I'll take a picture like this, but the Coyotes like to reveal this stuff on their own. It's a big deal to them. So in terms of reporting, I can't say I'm doing a lot of digging to try and find out what the jersey is, guys.
Not asking. Just
I will say this.
No, but others were. Others were. Yes, plenty of others were.
Leah, I will say this. And he's sports writer of the year. We've already crowned him that today. But at the practice this morning, I will say someone in the PR staff had actually pointed out to him that there may be something different on the uniforms. I'm just saying.
And ask why too, because I was huddled in the warm room. I wasn't even headed.
It's freaking cold.
I was like, so I show up and I'm like, I look at Jeff's headers. I go, anything interesting going on there in terms of personnel? He goes, nope. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna stay in the warm room.
So
there it is. There it is, baby. There's my in-depth reporting that you got today from. Yeah, somebody did point it out to me. Hey, go take a picture of the pants. Oh, okay.
We'll wait because. I mean, clearly, I know people are, you said it too, people get jazzed about this stuff for sure. When they do it, they do it. I was just surprised to hear that there was another sweater, which is, in fact, this is their actual third jersey.
Yeah.
Or their alternate, not the reverse retro. This is their third jersey. So I did not know that. I expect news in the coming weeks.
Okay, well, now I'll bring up something that is actually more journalisty and that I know Craig has the answer to, because this is another thing that some people had questions about today. Dylan Guenther's rights in the WHL were traded from the Edmonton Oil Kings, which is not a very good team this year, to the Seattle Thunderbirds. There was some question about what this means. Could this actually have an impact? Could Dylan Guenther go to Seattle, who is leading their conference, I believe, in the WHL right now, if they were to go on a playoff run? So Craig, here, let me boost you back up in your journalistic standing. What does this mean? And could we see Dylan Guenther in Seattle this year?
Well, as you know, I talked to Bill Armstrong just a couple nights ago and wrote a neutral zone asking what the plan is for Dylan Guenther. And basically Bill said the plan is for him to play. We're not thinking about keeping him under 40 games at this point so that he doesn't reach free agency a year early. We're not thinking about the conditioning stint. He's just here to play. They're going to monitor him every 5 to 10 game segment. But in order for him to compete for Seattle in the playoffs, he would have to return by the March 3rd NHL trade deadline, which means,
That's
gonna have to,
soon.
yeah, they're gonna have to send him back in the middle of the season. So if you're gonna do that, why, I guess you could still do that if you wanted to keep him under the 40 game mark. But again, Bill said that's not the case now. He's here to play games, and I would think that something dramatic would have to happen. He'd really have to tail off and start playing poorly for them to change their mind on this. My sense now that's really unlikely it's going to happen. I always wonder about that when teams make those deals. I guess it's just, well, we're willing to risk this in case, we have the chance to get a player of Dylan Gunther's caliber, but I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. And it was part of another trade, so I don't think they were kind of going out of their way, but
no,
might as well. The freaking trades going on in the CHL lately have been like mind blowing. If you don't know what's going on, just like do a quick Google search.
It's crazy, right? Like, look at the Oil Kings last season and this season, just literally at the top of the CHL, and now like dead bottom. Just
how about Kamloops and Everett trading freaking like
yeah.
Crazy, just crazy. If you want a little extra hockey drama, go check that out. It's really interesting. Craig, any final thoughts on this game tonight? Anything before we get to our final note here with you?
No, I'm good. I think I'm good. They took care of business, right?
Yeah,
took care of business.
Exactly.
Lost to a team they needed to lose to.
Exactly.
With a few good individual performances.
Yes.
And that's exactly what we've said. And they kept it kind of close till the end, which we've also said.
There you go.
Exactly.
Mission accomplished. Check that one off.
Yep. Moving on to the next. Well, Craig, while we have you here, quickly, we want to acknowledge a unfortunate passing in the Arizona hockey community that happened this week. Leo, I have to pull up the pronunciation. I'm not going to mess this up. Leo Golembiewski. There we go. He was the founder of the Arizona Ice Cats, and we all know I'm a Wildcat. I contend among the Sun Devils here, obviously cheer for Greg Powers and the Sun Devils NCAA team. But as far as ACHA goes, Leo was the one who, got the ball rolling on this. He was a student at Arizona. He requested the athletic department to allow him to start a hockey program. And that's what started the Ice Cats all those years ago. He eventually went on to become the president of the ACHA, which is the American Collegiate Hockey Association, which includes ASU and U of A. ASU, of course, was just an ACHA program before elevating to NCAA status. ASU still has an ACHA team as well. But if you've been to a U of A hockey game in Tucson, like in my era, they're still a big deal. But in the heyday of the Ice Cats, those games were nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Nuts. And also, as somebody who went to U of A and was around those games, people who weren't student age, but maybe a little bit older, still refer to the team as the Ice Cats, would say to me wow, the Ice Cats, games were so fun. Sorry to hear about his passing, but just know the huge impact that he had on hockey in Arizona and hockey in Tucson specifically.
Pete, did you ever meet Leo?
I did not, which is surprising for as much as I was around that rink and the rinks here in town.
It was a zoo. It was a fun show. And they were definitely the precursor to ASU hockey, and Greg Powers, I know you have that, talked about what an influence Leo was on him.
Yeah. So we got to speak with ASU head coach Greg Powers today, who knew him personally. So without further ado, we'll let Greg Powers talk about Leo. We are joined by Arizona State head coach Greg Powers. Coach Powers, thank you so much for joining us. I know you knew Leo Golembiewski well. Just what do you have to say about him before, we get into...
Leo was a legend in every way. Just he had a persona and an aura about himself. And what he built in Tucson is unbelievable. I mean, it was still to this day one of the very best environments in all of college hockey that I've ever been involved in as a coach or a player. Division I, ACHA, it doesn't matter. It was unbelievable what he was able to build at U of A. And he's the true pioneer of college hockey in Arizona in every way.
How did you meet him, Greg?
Well, I was a freshman at ASU, and we played them, and they owned us. They had a 68-game win streak going into my freshman year. If you played ASU and U of A played, ASU did win. They were really good. We snapped it my freshman year. By my junior year, we had swept them. And then I was lucky enough, my very first year as a head coach was Leo's last year as head coach. So I was able to coach against them as an assistant, coach against them as head coaches. And we flipped the script. I think my record against U of A was 41-1. So we flipped the script on U of A. But Leo was unbelievable. I mean, I can't say enough about the culture and the environment that he created. He made hockey at the TCC on Fridays and Saturday nights the thing to do in Tucson for probably a good span of 15, 20 years. It was really impressive.
I want to get to that in a minute, but I'm guessing that the key to snapping the streak against U of A was the goaltending, right?
Oh, absolutely. It was absolutely the goaltending. It was funny that the game that we beat them was at Oceanside. They beat us the night before, like 7-1. It was the first time at ASU I got pulled, and then the next day we beat them. We beat them 4-1. It was so cold at Oceanside that when we dumped the Gatorade bucket on our coach's head, that a block of ice came out of it and hit him in his head. So that was another memorable U of A moment.
What do you remember? Because I went down very early in my tenure in Arizona. What do you remember about games at the TCC while the Ice Cats were in their heyday?
It was anarchy. I think of like a Oakland Raider game in the Tucson Convention Center. That's what it was. You know, if I went a whole game without getting hit with a quarter or ice or a beer dumped on you, and like they wouldn't even do anything about it. Like it was just complete anarchy, unbelievable environment, great fans. He won a lot of games in 32 years. And I mean, think about like when he did it, the era that he did it. And I like a full belief that it's all linked. Like where we are today links back to him starting that program in Arizona. It is linked. I mean, he hired Jeremy Goltz as an assistant coach when Jeremy stopped playing for him. Then Jeremy got me into coaching at ASU. So it technically is linked. But you know, we would always go down there and just be like, this is incredible. Like, this is like a pro atmosphere. This is better than Division I atmosphere in production and ESPN radio and all the stuff that he did. He just gave it so much substance. It was amazing. And we always thought one day maybe we can do this in Tempe, you know, and it happened a long time later, but we're doing it.
Did he influence in any way the way you shaped the club program when you took over at ASU?
Yeah, I mean, the professionalism that he gave U of A definitely laid a roadmap for me. I always believe that I mean, club programs, part of the gist is some kids run the programs and it's student athlete ran, but the best ACHA programs are not student athlete ran. They're ran by adults that run them like businesses and provide some leadership and business acumen and just let the guys play hockey. That's what Leo did. So where for so many years at ASU, it was kind of a student ran organization and it was so far behind where he was at U of A. And so, yeah, he did in many ways provide a roadmap.
Well, we can't thank you enough for joining us and sharing a little bit of his legacy with us. And, you know, as a Wildcat too, just my two.
There it is.
My 2 cents is, you know, even when I was there, people would still refer to them as the Ice Cats. And you just know that was because of him. So, you know, we thank you for sharing your memories with him. And we'll, you know, as a community, hope to honor him here.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, my honor. He was a really neat guy.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you again to Coach Powers for sharing, you know, his story. It's really cool to see how that like Leo trickles down all the way down to, you know, ASU hockey being an NCAA program and Coach Powers being a part of it. Yeah.
You're a U of A graduate. Petey, you have U of A ties too, right?
I do. I actually,
you know what struck me about that interview? It felt a lot like when, you know, we're talking about the football programs. U of A makes its living on, you know, all those wins it got against ASU in the dark ages. And ASU has dominated the series recently, but U of A still crowing about stuff that, you know, happened before like the internet and I don't know.
Before the internet.
I threw that out there.
Jesus. Before they had electricity and running water, that U of A team was pretty good. Pretty
But
darn
also,
good. Mighty
just
good
talk
down
about
there.
him talking about like getting beers like spilled on them, and they
awesome.
were like,
and then he says, "Great fans." Like,
Yeah.
right after someone's throwing something at you.
Old time hockey. Gotta love it.
yeah,
Good stuff.
love it. But it's just cool, and a really great testament. And like people and this whole community carrying on the legacy of hockey in Arizona. So that's really special to me. And and PD Son Jackson and I worked together for U of A hockey, formerly the Ice Cats. So it's a small hockey world.
Small world.
Really is. But we appreciate Coach Powers for coming on and talking with us. All right, Craig, we'll let you and your smudged camera go.
They just called for the couple skate, Petey. So I'm gonna go down, strap on my rollerblades, and get going here.
Couples skate. It looks like you're at the roller rink back in 1984.
Exactly.
Leah has no idea what that is.
Nope.
Couple skate, and you go like, no, when you go hide by the foosball table and defender.
Is it like it's like the kiss cam, but like in real life?
It was like
Very
teenagers,
similar.
like, oh, you gotta hold hands with a girl and
You got the big comb
skate.
sticking out of your back pocket. The one
with your name on it.
Leah has no clue. Her mom would, but she has no idea.
Good
I got
Skate
nothing.
ramps. Drove my 10 speed to the roller rink. Yes, I did.
All right, Craig.
All right, guys.
We'll
I will see you tomorrow for Chris Peters.
Yes.
Looking forward to that one.
Talking more hockey.
Really looking forward to
Wait.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yep,
Absolutely.
live on the internet with two Peters. Can you say that? Out of context quotes.
Goodbye. Just removed.
Just remove
from the
them.
screen. Oh
Just
my
remove 'em.
goodness. Oh my
Yeah, with
goodness.
Chris Peters,
All
we're
right.
going to talk a lot about World Juniors because he actually watched it from there. So it'll be firsthand Logan Cooley, Connor Bedard. Kind of looking forward to hearing about what he had to see.
Yes, me too.
That was my tease.
That is Wednesday at 11 a.m., aka tomorrow if you're watching this live. NHL
Oh, yeah,
draft
it
and
could be
prospect
today
analyst
if you're listening
Chris
tomorrow. Yeah.
Peters at 11 a.m. on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. So subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss that one. We're gonna ask him about like Craig said, he was at the World Juniors, like actually there. We'll ask him about Logan Cooley. We'll ask him about Dylan Gunther. We'll ask him about Connor Bedard, the other Coyotes prospects, and also prospects to look ahead for in 2023. It's that time. Let's get her going. We're gonna talk prospects. We're there. So excited for that conversation.
Yeah, I
Hope
am too,
to
because
see
this is
everybody there
we
tomorrow.
keep talking about the rebuild and what's going to happen, and let's get somebody that knows what these guys are and the boots on the ground guys. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what he has to say about the tournament and also these other draft picks and just prospects in general. So should be a good show.
Yep, absolutely. And Petey, we haven't had an 11 a.m. show in a while. Maybe after we'll go grab lunch at Chop Shop. Because you missed out on. So I also missed out on Monday. We got our Chop Shop delivery, but I ordered it and saved it. And I got to say, it reheated so well. Like this bowl, I got the I think it was like the sesame steak bowl. So good. And Chop Shop is also going to be there on Friday at the PHNX Tee Party.
Seriously?
With food. So if you've never tried Chop Shop, by the way, their lemonade, unreal. Yeah, like I can't believe how many of our partners are going to be at this tea party and how much free stuff there's going to be. It's seriously amazing. So check out Chop Shop. They have locations all over the valley. Great food, really healthy also. But check them out. Like I said, try the lemonade, try the bowls. They're really great. And check out Chop Shop and check them out this Friday if you'll be at the tea party. And we need to talk about Underdog Fantasy. Petey, we've kind of, you and I have tried to include other people in this, and then we keep losing as a result. So we need to go head to head again, just to kind of.
It was your idea the last time, so one of us.
I know.
That's a good idea tomorrow. Well,
I know.
Let's do it a two-person because it didn't go well.
Yeah. So we're of course
the people that know about hockey should do better at hockey, right? Let's go do that hockey.
Yes, but you know what? Underdog just makes it so easy that you don't need to know about hockey to do it, which is great because they have all sorts of other sports you can do daily fantasy drafts for, which is of course what we're talking about. It's really, really, really fun on Underdog to do this. It couldn't be easier to do it with one other person, 4 people, 6 people, 10 people. whatever it is. Daily fantasy is really fun. You don't have to manage season long fantasy. And then you can also play the pick'em game, which is really fun too. Just, more picks you add, the more money you can win. You can buy insurance. So if you miss a leg, you're good to go. Just pick higher or lowers. That's very simple as well. I like when things are simple. I like when I don't have to make crazy hard decisions. And that's what I like about Underdog Fantasy. And right now, check it out. It's super, super fun, super easy to use. We got NBA, NFL, NHL, all of it in full swing. So it's a great time to get Underdog. Go to underdogfantasy.com or download the app, sign up with the code PHNX, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. All right, Petey. We talked about the Coyotes moving down in the standings. Yay. We kind of talked about the upcoming schedule already, but it does help me to see a visual of what they have ahead. So let's go ahead and check out the upcoming schedule.
Oh. Do you know what? With the Diefenlock, who is producing the show today, like he just put the week. Did he had to put 2 weeks up? Because that is just.
I specifically asked him to.
That is daunting. Look at all of those games.
And like we said, those away games are not.
No, they suck.
Minnesota, Winnipeg, and then come home for 2, and then Dallas isn't super far, but still you're crossing time zones.
It's a 2-hour flight, and the time zones you fly on Friday place, and it's another back-to-back. This schedule is just horrific. Can you imagine flying to Minnesota and Winnipeg this time of year? Maybe let's not even talk. We're talking about the teams. Let's talk about the weather. It's January.
Yeah, no. And then that Dallas back-to-back, they do come home, but it's to play Vegas.
To Vegas. And Vegas will be sitting here waiting for them. It's so unfair. This schedule is really, really hard, and it doesn't get any easier. And the wins, I don't know, maybe Ottawa. I mean, they played Minnesota hard, but they struggle against them. I mean, they don't win. They play well, but Winnipeg, the only hope is Veggie. I mean, maybe Ottawa, maybe Detroit. Otherwise, I could see another 6 losses.
Which is that the worst thing? I've been running tank. We talked about this the other day. Craig and I have been obsessively running tankathon simulations. But I like to do them over the days because the standings change after every game. So I ran a couple yesterday, and this is what I got: Coyotes 6th, Coyotes 1st, Coyotes 5th, Coyotes 1st, Coyotes 5th, Coyotes 1st. So it was like they were just bouncing up and down. So the closer we can get them to the, maybe Coyotes 3rd, Coyotes 1st. That's what I'm looking for. And hopefully we will get lucky. I'm still praying. I'm still hoping. We might have to call upon some experts to look ahead and look in the cards, literally. But
yes, great idea, by the way.
We
need all the luck we can get. And you're right, Leah, but when you're doing those simulations a week ago, they were not getting any firsts. So by slipping a couple of spots,
it makes a difference.
More likely.
Makes a difference. So I know it's hard, 6-game loss. It's harder for the players and harder for the staff than it is for any of us. But as fans and as people who talk about this team every day, it does get tough in the drudges of things. But they are giving us positives to talk about as well. So. Yeah.
Leah, you know what though? I'm going to say something. It does for the players and the staff and the coaches and the fans and everybody involved. It is hard, and you lose 12 or you lose 15 or whatever it is that you lose. But guess what? Come June, no one gives a shit. Like it's June, you're golfing, it's sunny, and you're like, oh, we lost games. You're past it. And I know if you can just get through that moment, the window of time that is now, if you can get through that, it won't matter. The draft pick is going to matter so much more than this losing streak and the way you feel right now. It's going to be infinitely more important because it could last for another decade. It could turn this franchise around for infinitum. So it's so important. This really doesn't matter. And I know we want to say that these wins and losses matter, but right now they need to lose games because they need one of these top 3 players. And then we can be sitting there joining the DNVR staff on a parade down Van Buren. Or Mill.
Yeah, gotta keep it in Tempe. And as the chat said, HKT double D. HK till draft day. That's the motto. Let's keep it going. And you know what, Petey? At least we all live, and us and the players, we all live in Arizona. like it could be worse. We could be in
way
Winnipeg.
worse. It was beautiful today.
Exactly. Well, it's beautiful. All right. Well, we already said that Shane is producing us. So the punch card, don't know. Oh, it's still expired.
Still expired. God dang it. Where's Isaiah? He was supposed to send us a new one.
We gotta wait for Sean, but Sean's too Sean was at, by the way, Sean was at the Buffalo Sabres game tonight in Buffalo, and I was heartbroken by a 4-3 loss. I know he had some money on DraftKings.
Whoopsie.
So, yikes. Sorry, Sean. We miss you.
Yeah.
Come back soon.
Yeah. It's one of those things you do for job security, though, isn't it? Like, and nobody else knows how to do anything. Mm-hmm.
The punch card.
Yeah. No one else knows how to do it. They can't fire me. No one knows how to do the punch card.
We'll have no fear.
Boy.
Sean will be back in time for the tea party. He literally like booked his flight so he would be back. And why would he miss this? Because have I not said enough about all of the people who are going to be there? And I didn't even mention there's going to be Mountain Mike's pizza. Like they're just going to be giving away slices of pizza. Yeah, pizza. Okay. We talked about Four Peaks, who's presenting this event. Samples. And these aren't the tiny little cups, okay? That's what I heard today from Max. Like, this is like a legit sample. Four Peaks.
Fantastic.
Chop Shop, OGs, all going to be there. Plus, all the PHNX crew, all of us, we're all going to be there. Big Drive Energy is going to be there. We're going to have a massive screen to watch the Suns game. That's going to be a blast. It's just going to be a lot of fun. So come on out. Tickets are $36 a person, $120 for a foursome. By the way, you have until tomorrow to buy your tickets. So no more procrastinating. Get them. You can bring your kids.
Can you get them on Game Time? I'm sorry.
No, but you can get them in the link below in our description, Petey. And bring
it is going to be fun.
Bring your kids. There's going to be a free kids clinic for kids 10 and under. Like what?
Bring your kids. Because I'm really good around kids. Yeah,
I'm not saying for you.
Nobody,
bring your kids and pass them off to Petey. He'll babysit them while you play golf. Join us
Mr. Sunshine.
this Friday at Dobson Ranch Golf Course for the PHNX Tee Party. Of course, that's presented by Four Peaks. Like I said, check the link in the description to reserve your spot. It's going to be so much freaking fun. And you know who else will be there? Illegal freaking Pete's, because my homies. I had Illegal Pete's for dinner tonight. So shout out PHNX Suns. They took a field trip to Tempe to go to Illegal Pete's, and they brought me back a bowl. I got a chicken rice bowl with fajita peppers and pico de gallo and sour cream and cheese and chips. Their chips, underrated, unreal, and their queso. And I brought some home. I can't wait to heat up that queso and eat more after our show. But I love Illegal Pete's so much, and they have such good margaritas too. Didn't have one of those tonight. But check out Illegal Pete's if you've never been there, or if you have. And we talked about Tucson a lot. There's an Illegal Pete's there as well. It was a big part of my college experience. So check it out. They have everything you need. If you have dietary restrictions, if you're looking to eat a little healthier, you can tailor your order to ingredients that fit your needs. Super, super fresh ingredients, and you can eat it. Pete's just for the health of it. It's our go-to spot for burritos, friends, beers, good times. So check out Illegal Pete's. All right, Petey. Now I'm excited to go eat my chips and queso. So let's wrap this up.
That's your leftovers? Do you have leftovers?
I do.
No, I did update the chat. My in-laws are gone.
They are.
They are gone. But 18 days, not like anyone was counting. 18 days, 3 puzzles. Yeah,
there was the big Petey sigh about the in-laws. There's not about the game.
In the house. And a good back to the game. Barrett Hayton was good. Fish was good. Chick and the Ghost were good. And there were some bright spots tonight. Yep. Let's see if they can get the Mullet Magic going on Thursday.
Yep. And we'll talk about even more bright spots tomorrow. We'll talk about the future, which is my favorite thing to talk about in regard to this team. That's what it's all about. And Chris Peters, like we mentioned, will be joining us live at 11 a.m. tomorrow. That's Wednesday, the 11th. Chris Peters, 11 a.m. PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Subscribe and follow PHNX Sports across all social platforms as well. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. And you can follow all of us on Twitter at SPetersHockey, at Leah Merrill, at Craig S. Morgan, at Shane Deef. And also watch PHNX Bets Daily Monday through Friday at noon for really good bets, unlike the ones that we
Yeah,
give
he's a
out on
heater.
this show.
The beef unlock is that he's on a heater.
Yep.
Don't
And-
listen to me or Leah.
And shout out Sean _DePaz, our regular producer who co-hosts PHNX Sun Devils with Shane and Totri. So check that out as well. Just support the PHNX family and follow us on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. Like, subscribe, follow, leave our podcast a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. We'll see everybody bright and early, not really bright and early, but in about 12 hours tomorrow. But until then, everybody enjoy the rest of your night and we'll see you soon.